Hello and welcome to our Snapchat tutorial. My name is Michael McBride and I'm the founder of ripped411.com, and I'm excited that you are joining me along for this tutorial. Since you're watching this, it shows me that you have an interest in this platform. Maybe you've had a lot of curiosity, or you're wanting to learn how to work with it better. Many of us who are watching this are interested for purposes of business. And I have to say that over the several months, almost a year that I've been using Snapchat, it has proven to be very profitable and very fun as well. I also have to say up front that it took me a while to put this video together because I felt like I was still learning how to use this platform. In fact, they had some pretty major changes just a few weeks ago, and I feel like this is something that I'm still learning. So I had to set a benchmark of when I would put this video out, and that would be when I received 1,000 views on my content, on my story. And as of this morning, I hit 1.1 thousand views on my content. So here it is. So I'm going to take you through a process where we will talk about, number one, why to use Snapchat, number two, how to use Snapchat, and I'll share all of my tricks and ins and outs and what I've discovered from polling hundreds of people. Number three, how to discover other Snapchatters and how to be discovered. This platform is very unusual if you compare it to other social media platforms. And then finally, I'm going to share my secret tip to increase engagement. And I played around with this for a while, and it absolutely works. And it's so incredibly simple. You'll wish you could fast forward to the end of the video just to catch this. But I want to lead you through a process of getting a good foundation so this actually works. Because if you don't do the right things in the right sequence, and if you skip ahead, you will actually be forfeiting a lot of benefit. So to begin with, we're actually going to start with some snap experiments. Two snap experiments. The first thing that I want you to do is see if you can find me on Snapchat. Now, I assume that you have already downloaded Snapchat and you know how to open the app. When you open it up, it goes directly to the camera. So what I'd like for you to do is open up the app to the camera app and hover your camera over this image on the right side. That yellow and black QR code is called a snap code. Hover over that and touch and hold on your phone's screen. After a couple seconds, it should bring up a dialog box to ask if you would like to add me. And go ahead and say yes. The second experiment that I want to run is a live experiment while we're doing this video, and it's all about discovery. So what I've done is I've downloaded a screen capture of my snap code. I put some text on it saying, "Snap me your smile," and what I'm going to do is actually share that on my Instagram right now. In fact, see if you can follow me here. So I'm going to share my screen on my phone. Here we go. Oop. Little lag time there. I'm going to open up Instagram. I've already prepared this image ahead of time. So when that comes up, you'll see it just says, "Snap me your smile," and it has my QR code. And I am going to share that to Instagram. Got a little lag. There it is. In the text, I'm just going to put a little smiley face. And okay. In fact, I will share that to Facebook as well. And we'll see how that goes. We'll check in at the end of our presentation for the results. Okay, now we'll switch over our share. Here we go. All right. So let's go over some basics. Why use Snapchat? Snapchat is an image messaging and multimedia mobile application. It was created by Stanford University students, namely the CEO, Evan Spiegel. Several years ago, Facebook tried to acquire it for $3 billion, and Evan turned them down. Mark Zuckerberg was pissed. And as of May of 2016, the valuation, they just ran a capital campaign, and they were valued at $22 billion. So it is huge, and it is growing very, very quickly. Every day they have 10 billion daily video views. There are over 100 million daily users, over 9,000 snaps generated every single second. The core audience is age 13 through 25 right now, and is rapidly aging up. And you can see the stats and the demographics on the side, where 13 to 17 year olds account for 23%, and then 18 through 24 year olds account for 37%. I anticipate, as well as Gary Vaynerchuk's anticipation, is that this is going to age up rapidly. And I'll tell you in a second about some other apps that marketers are using to come in here, and they're really starting to use Snapchat for business. As we know, early adopters of a successful platform tend to have an advantage. So I encourage you to jump in this immediately before a bunch of marketers come in and destroy the platform and the kids don't think it's cool anymore. 18% of US social media users are on Snapchat. That's basically 1 in 5 people who use social media in the US are on Snapchat. It's absolutely unbelievable. And here's the Snapchat demographics that I just shared a moment ago. So let me tell you a little bit of how I got started with Snapchat. It actually started with my friend Ed, who was also in the same business, and he decided to join the police academy. Now, the police academy have restrictions for social media and what you can share and what you can't share. He actually said, hey, why don't you get on Snapchat, and I can send you these temporary pictures and videos of my training, and they disappear, so there's no problem with it. So I got on Snapchat, and I saw crazy videos of him like doing chokeholds and tasing people, and I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. But I'm kind of concerned telling people that I'm on Snapchat because I feel like it's just for 14-year-old girls who want to share nude pics, which that was kind of the stigma against Snapchat for many, many years. It's changing now that more people are discovering it. And I actually do have to say, with the sexual content, the concerns over sexual content, yes, it's there, it's gonna happen. That's why the block feature is there, and I'll show you how to use that. But I believe that there is so much benefit that outweighs the liabilities of the random content that you may not want to come into contact with, that it is completely worth it. So after a few months, I decided to out myself as a Snapchat user, and I decided to actually just snap a day, just kind of going through my day randomly, snapping the things that I was doing. And there's a way that you can actually composite all of those snaps within a 24-hour period into a little video. And so I time-lapsed that video, so it only lasted about 10 seconds, and I shared that on my Instagram and on my Facebook, and saw that there were a ton of people on Snapchat who, once they discovered that I was on it, were excited to connect with me over that platform. So that's how that all kind of got started almost a year ago now. And I'll say that since then, it has been one of the best ways for me to connect with people authentically. If the power of a communication medium is in its ability to draw attention, due to Snapchat's the temporary nature of its content, oh, I messed this up on my slide. It should not be MOFO. It should be FOMO. That's hysterical. Fear of missing out, FOMO, creates a much higher level of attention. I know this is going to be the one thing you get out of this training. So it creates a high level of attention that people are actually paying attention to it in a way that they're not doing on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Tumblr. So it's unlike any platform because of its temporary nature. And I found that it is by far the most personal platform, the most raw and authentic way to connect with people. It kind of creates a sense of trust organically. Whereas on other platforms, there's this pressure to be kind of slick and to only share the highlights of your life. It's not like that on Snapchat. Essentially, I got this message from watching a video that Evan Spiegel did, one of those cool little videos where he doesn't talk, he just writes messages on paper and shows it and then shows the next paper. And essentially the point of the video, which was the turning point for me, was comparing to other social media, other media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, essentially say your life is the sum of your past experiences. It's wise to select/edit the best parts. Whereas Snapchat is saying your life is what is happening right now. And more our culture is becoming a culture of immediacy. We don't want the slick sales pitch. We want the raw, unedited live stream behind the scenes of what's happening right now. So now let me get into how to use Snapchat. I want to lay the groundwork first that the features and the functionality of Snapchat are constantly changing. The date today is June 1st, 2016, and it's very likely in 2 weeks they're going to come up with something new. However, what I've found over the year that I've been using it are some central tenets that I think are going to be a golden thread throughout the platform in its future. There are basically 4 kinds of users with Snapchat. The first is the random user. They just kind of snap whatever, their feet, their cat, their carpet, the sky, the cars, whatever is in front of them. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no intentionality. The second kind is the people who are having fun with the filters and the lenses, and I'll show you those in a second. The third kind is the my life is awesome kind of user, where they are just sharing the cool things about their life. Sometimes this can come across as bragging, and sometimes this can come across as inspirational, and I'll show you the difference of how to be the second one. And then the fourth kind of content of user is the how-to content. So they're sharing specific instruction, information about how to do something. Fitness, how to do makeup, how to select the right kinds of designs or dress or cars, whatever it is. All right, now here's the mother lode. How to use Snapchat. Overall, the things that I want you to understand are at the very top. These are the best kinds of content. Number 1 is behind the scenes. Number 2, be nonchalantly extraordinary. We can't know that you're trying very hard if you are trying hard. If you're not trying hard, make sure that you're sharing something of value. And then number 3, something that's native in this app are using stickers and drawing. So go ahead and use those. I have a list here of some of the best kinds of content that I've seen and that I've used. Number 1, it's whatever your viewer, whoever you're connecting with, I call that an avatar, who is like your ideal person you want to connect with. Whatever they care about are the things that they're going to be most interested in. So if you can find points of connection between what you care about and what they care about, share those things, you're naturally going to attract the people that you have common interests with as you're sharing those things about your life. Personally, I've made it kind of a general structure to share from to share basically gratitude journaling. I've created this form of gratitude journaling, and there's a separate training for that I call Great Journaling. Great stands for grateful, relieved, excited, attracted to, and totally loving. Essentially, like, it's a daily diary of things that I discover throughout my day that fall into any of those 5 categories. And for me, this is what I found separates those who are sharing the "my life is awesome" kinds of posts, that really kind of separate you from being really arrogant compared to being really grateful. If you can approach the good things that you're doing and learning and growing in your life from a spirit of gratitude, then it really comes across as much more relatable. Comparison questions are fantastic. Should I wear these shoes? Should I wear those shoes? People love interacting. Make sure your content is either entertaining, informational, or relational. Stuff about family is great. I share a lot of pictures of my dogs. One time I did a few days the song request thing where I just kind of asked for people to snap me song requests, and then I would sing it to them because I love music. It's part of my own brand. You can do fashion shows, daily check-ins, talk about your daily routine. You can talk about products that you use, if it's like a hair demonstration, or if you're part of a business that is selling products, you can, of course, include those within your story. I will say one thing that I want you to be careful about if you are talking about products. If you are representing those products, then I highly encourage you, highly recommend that you avoid saying or showing the names of those products as much as possible. Because if you want people to buy from you rather than to buy from somebody else or through another e-commerce site, Amazon, eBay, Craigslist, then you don't want people to say, hey, I like that product X, I'm going to go find the cheapest price. So instead, what you want to do is create a sense of mystery of what is this thing that they're using, so that they reach out to you, start asking you questions, which is when you can engage in a conversation. And if your product can meet one of their needs, then you can connect with them one-on-one. Very critical. The next thing is encouragements. People love encouragements. I've done recipes, snack ideas, cooking demonstrations, book excerpts. If there's a quote that you really love, you can snap a picture of that quote. And then, of course, you can always cover up the camera with your finger and create a blank screen, and then just write text on that blank screen. I encourage you to play with many different lengths of pictures and videos. They can be from 1 to 10 seconds. You can mix pictures and videos within your story. Be aware that if you do video in your story, that the content, I believe, has to be better than that of a picture, because it does demand more time for the content to unveil itself to its user. And Snapchat users have the attention span of less than a goldfish. They say it's 7 seconds. They are just tapping rapidly through these stories until something catches their eye. Personally, as far as volume throughout the day, I snap about 8 to 20 a day. So now I want to actually go into Snapchat and share some specific functionalities with it that we have right here. Lenses, about how to find the number of views you're getting, show your snap number, show how the list works, downloading your own content. I won't show you the live video because I'm sure our bandwidth isn't going to work, but you can do live video conferencing, stickers, how to access some special colors that are not on the little color dial, the black, white, and gray, how to include more text than normal, doing screenshots, replays, and blocking. So if all goes well with this screen share, we are going to be able to connect. I'm going to share over to my phone. There we go. This has been really slow, so we'll see how well this works. Okay, so it looks like it's going to be really slow, but I'll kind of talk you through. So the first thing that a lot of people discover about Snapchat is the lenses and the filters. And that is if you create a turn the camera around by double tapping on the screen, you can create a selfie. And if you hold your finger on the screen, then it will analyze your face and bring up several options of different filters that you can include. Right now, there's a Marilyn Monroe filter on, and you can take a picture, and you can also create video. Now, this is lagging too far, so I don't know if this is going to come through, but I'll just kind of narrate through. So I'm going to write, I feel pretty, and share to my story. If you're following me, then you get to see that. Okay, so unlike other social media platforms, there's no really easy way to discover how many friends you have. They've done that intentionally. They're much more about engagement and views rather than just how many numbers of people you've racked up. So if you are on your camera screen, you swipe to the left, then it'll show your story if you've included any images in your story. There are 3 dots on the top right, and if you tap on those 3 dots, it will open all of the content that you've described or that you've put into your story, and it'll show you how many views. You might have to refresh it by pulling down, how many views you have received on each piece of content. And these are done in chronological order, so there are always more views at the oldest post. Good. Next thing is whenever you receive or send a message, it always goes to the top of your Snap list. Personally, I don't like that. It gets kind of awkward to organize. Maybe they'll change that in the future. You can download your own content. If you go to your story and you tap on a piece of content, there's a little icon in the lower right-hand corner, a little down arrow with a horizontal line below it. If you tap on that, then it will allow you to download that content. And you can also tap on the download in line with your own story, and that will download all of the content within the last 24 hours that you've put on your story. It does have the option to do live video calling and voice messages. In my experience, it's been kind of rickety so far, so it's growing, but it's a really powerful way to connect with people live, and I've actually done business opportunity presentations through Snap Video, which is great. There's also, if you snap a picture, there's also some stickers that you can access. If you look at the top, near the top right, there is a little, looks like a post-it note. So you tap on that and you can access stickers that you can place, and you can resize and turn. If your snap is a video, then you can actually tap and hold on that sticker and it will follow along with your video. It's pretty cool. They just started that. You can change the color of your drawing or of your text by tapping on the little crayon in the right corner and sliding your finger up and down on that little bar. Now, there's a little secret. If you want to access black, gray, or white, then, there you go, then tap and hold on the color, and then swipe over to the other side of your screen, and then swipe down for black and up for white, and then somewhere in the middle for gray. There is a way to include more text than is usually allowed in the text box, and that is to actually write some text over in your Notes app, and um, then make sure that you have carriage returns after just a few words. Copy and paste that into your text box, and you can have a lot more text. You can do screenshots, of course, of any content that you create or any content that you're looking at. By on the iPhone, it's pressing the power button and the home button at the same time. Be aware that if somebody screenshots your material, then it shows you and a little indicator, a little green double arrow that goes this way that shows that somebody screenshotted your material. And if you do that to somebody else, they get a notification. On the one hand, it is the highest form of, stop my share here. It's the highest form of attention, of honor, saying that this temporary material is something that I want to share or that I want to save forever. And it's however, it's also something that can be kind of creepy if you do it on the wrong kind of content. So kind of be the judge of that. The content that's sent to you through direct message is available for a maximum of 10 seconds. However, you can automatically do a replay of that content by tapping on the message. As long as it says to replay, press and hold on the message, and it'll reload up that content and you can see it once more. You have one of those for free within a 24-hour period. You can buy more of those if you want. And then the final feature is blocking. If you have to block someone for whatever reason, you can go to their profile either within the name list. You can tap and hold, it'll bring up their info, and then there's a block feature there. Or you can swipe to open a chat with them, swipe again to the right, and that will open up some options near the bottom to either to block or to unfriend if you need to. Okay, let's go back to our screen share. There we go. So the next thing that I want to talk about is how to discover other Snapchat users and how to be discovered. Number one, the best way to do it is to promote that you are on Snapchat on other social media, like we did with our Snap experiment at the beginning. So you can take a screenshot of your Snap code and you can share it on other social media. For those who already know what Snapchat is all about, and the value of it, then they will find you. I like to say, sort, don't sell. Don't try to convince people to be on Snapchat if they don't know what it is. The next thing that you can do is give a teaser, give a reason of why to follow you on Snapchat so that your content is different. Like maybe there's some image or video that you're sharing on Instagram or Facebook, but you cut it right before the climax. And so you say, if you want to see how this ends, find me on Snapchat. Another thing is to natively share Snap content. So if you use one of those lenses, like the little dog licking, then you can put that over on other social media, include your Snap handle, your name, and those who are on Snapchat will recognize, oh, they use Snapchat to make the little dog thing. I want to follow them to see what's going on. And then the final way is what I did to kind of launch myself, and that is to snap an entire day, do 10, 15, maybe 20 snaps, and then download that entire story as a video. You may have to compress the length of it by speeding it up. I use, hyperlapse, I think through Instagram, and compressed it to about 15 seconds, and then you can share that on other social media. So it actually gives people, a firsthand experience of exactly what kind of content you are sharing. There are some other ways to be discovered. I want to talk about Ghost Codes, which is an separate app that came out, want to say, when did it come out? Late winter, or like beginning of 2016. And it's essentially a way to discover Snapchat accounts by interest. So when you create an account on Ghost Codes, then it asks you to fit yourself in within a particular category, and then to set a maximum of 10 interests. So people can go through and use the search function to say, I want to find snappers who are interested in juggling. And so it'll bring up all of their profiles. There's a way that people can download your snap code through that app, and they can also give you what's called kudos, little hearts. The more kudos you have, the higher ranked you are on a list, which makes you more discoverable. However, I think last week they just started a few different kinds of filters of how to sort through those lists. Newer users or random. So they're starting to kind of change the rules of the game. Nevertheless, if you can get really high ranked up in your category, you're going to be a lot more visible. I chose to put myself in a category that had a little less competition, but nevertheless is one that I'm definitely a part of. So if you look under the LGBT category, as of today, I'm hovering around number 10. And you can find me there, give me some kudos, and I'll give you some kudos as well. There's also within Snapchat a way to discover people who are in your immediate vicinity. That is, if you open your app, swipe down to see the settings, tap on Add Friends, then you can see there's a Discover Nearby function that I believe it uses Bluetooth. You can also have Snapchat search your phone contacts, and it will actually bring up a list of everybody in your contacts who has a Snapchat account, and you can add them that way. For those who are running a business and you get free customer leads, this is an epic way of connecting with people. You just put their phone number that you received from your company into your contact address book, and it's going to come up on Snapchat. You can find them through there and start a conversation that way. And then the final way is, of course, the live snap code capture, which is what we did at the very beginning of this presentation. So somebody opens up their snap code and you hover your phone over it, hold your finger on the screen. You're not taking a picture, you're just telling it that there's a snap code in the camera, and then it will analyze the QR code and bring up their account for you to follow. The final thing that I want to share is my secret to increasing views and engagement. Do you like my picture? Drum roll. Okay, so here's the secret. First of all, everyone's favorite topic is themselves. If you ask someone about them, they come away thinking you're interesting. It's weird, but that's the way people are. So if you can be more interested than interesting, then people seem to like you more. And if they like you more, then they're going to see when your story pops up, then they're going to say like, hey, I want to see what this person's doing because I like them more. So be interested in other people. You do that by asking how they're doing, by asking them questions, asking for opinions, having conversations, being encouraging. And I'm going to give you one more bonus, and this is actually the best killer secret of how to increase views on your story and engagement. Here it is. Send direct messages to multiple individuals without including that content in your story. So if you say, good morning, snap a picture of yourself and write good morning, then instead of adding it to your story, go to your alphabet list and send it to all of the people whose accounts begin with A. And then later in the day, you can say, hope you had a great day, and send it to all the B's in your address list, and just work your way through the alphabet. So that way you are sending direct messages to each person. You can do it to multiple individuals simultaneously, and they do not know that you're sending it to a lot of people. But one thing they may do is they'll look at your story, and if they see that same content come up in your story, then it makes them feel a little less special. So that's why I say don't include that content in your story. It's all about making people feel special and wanted and valuable. And that's what's going to create a following for you. So to wrap up, I encourage you to use Snapchat to just capture moments throughout your day. The camera is actually pretty good. Then at the end of the day, you can find the best ones and download those, and then you can share those to other social media platforms where it's a little bit more expected to want to kind of share the best of your day. And then lastly, I want to kind of check in on our Snap experiment to see what happened when I shared my Snap code. I'm going to go to my Instagram. Okay, and I've got some likes on my post. I got somebody saying, done, boo. So I'm going to go over to my Snapchat and see if there are people who have added me, and then also see if there are people who sent me their snaps. Yep, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people added me within the time that we created this video. So I'm going to add them and check in. And yep, I got some smiles there. So give it some time, be real, and celebrate everything. Have fun with Snapchat, and thanks so much for watching.